Hello everyone and welcome to my series of video tutorials of Revit Architecture 2017. My name is Fuad and I work for Cream House Design. I am the principal there and I do design work and also I give some um, lessons as well in regards to Revit and AutoCAD. Um, I am an architectural and a structural designer with over 15 years of experience in the industrial and institutional and residential industry. I have a bachelor degree of architecture and I'm also a lead AP, building design and construction from the USG GBC. And I'm also an Autodesk Revit architecture certified professional 2017. I have given many Revit and AutoCAD lessons in the past few years, either in person or from online and video tutorials. So if you have any question regarding Revit and or AutoCAD, please feel free to ask me, as well as any other BIM related issues. Thank you for watching my videos and I hope you will find it helpful. So we're gonna start right now with the first lesson here. Lesson 1, setting up standards. Standards in Revit are tedious and changing them is not a very easy task. So there is a lot of stuff that you want to change if you have to. Usually firms, architectural firms and engineering firms or engineering consultant, they do have their own standards for design and drafting. But sometimes some clients they prefer to have their own also. So most of the BIM managers and the drafting chief draftsmen there, they like to have their own. Uh, they also like to have their own standards, but sometimes they are obliged to change and make changes and tweak and all these standards that you are looking at right now. It's units and lines and visibility graphics and title blocks and families and all that. These are stored in a file called file template. So the template in Revit is a file, as you will see soon. I'm gonna have to open a file, Revit, and you will see what I'm talking about. Here is a folder, a file of Revit. Revit is open right now, and this is the first page you open. When you open Revit, you get a project and families. Project can be a template. You can open new or just open a new template. These are recent files that I open, and these are the families, recent families also that I've been working on. So, if you go to big R, which is the big menu here, application menu, and you want to open like a new project here, and as soon as you click on open, you get this new project window here, which gives you options to choose which template you want to use. Now, for the template that Revit gives us here, we have four. Maybe you have more, because if you go browse, you will see here for my series here, because I have a full version of Revit here. It's an RVT. It's not just an architectural or structural Revit here, but it's a complete Revit. So we have different templates here. We have from structural analysis, we have plumbing, we have mechanical, we have electrical, construction, and we do have this one here called default metric. This one here is the one I'm going to choose right now. And you see, when as soon as you click on this default metric, it will request me to just open it, and you see it's an RTE file. But as soon as you open that one and you choose the template, it's on the project, create new project. You're not creating a new template, but you can in view project. As soon as you hit OK, and this new project is going to be called project RVT. project 1 RVT or whatever the Revit will give it a name. Since I have project 1 here, probably it's going to be project 2. I'm just assuming. Um, it's a little bit slow right now, but it should be coming soon. Sometimes Revit takes a little bit of time, depending on what was done before. So as you can see, when Revit opens up, you get two windows here. You get Properties and Project Browser, which is pretty common with every template that you use for any project. So again, this is an RVT file. So this is not what really we want to do. We want to open a new template. So to do this, we want to go back again to Project, New, Open a New. We want to open a new project. So we want to go Project. We want to go to Family Project. Because when you see project doesn't mean it's an RVT or an RTE. You just have to specify it later on. So right now we have an RVT and RTE file to open. So this is where I want to open my new RTE file from, not from the project, but from here. This is the difference. So I want to show you something here. We just want to open that file. I'm going to open it right now. It is a RTE file. Matter of fact, it is. So it's right now it's an RTE file or can be an RVT file. It depends on how I'm going to save it as. So this is where it comes to template. Now I'm going to save it as a template and I'm going to choose a file that I already set up before. So I'm going to use this document here and I save it here under standards for the first lesson. I'm going to delete this one here, just an existing one I was working on before. And make sure the options here for the maximum backup set to 1. I don't need that 20. Oops, I think the number lock was on, so and set it up to 1. Now click save. The file is saved in RTE file somewhere. This is where all our standards that we have mentioned before about lines and units, and they will be saved. So our lesson template is the lesson that I'm going to use and save it for later on projects. Now we're going to go to manage. I'm going for units, project units. So this is where you set up first. As you can see, we have too many disciplines here because it's a full version of Revit. So I'm going to use common, so it just doesn't matter which one is. So for the length, we have millimeters, so we can set it up to millimeters and meters. Usually in architectural, um, we use millimeters for a dimensioning lines and walls and all that. So symbols, you don't need to put in millimeters because it's just kind of, it's very obvious that it's millimeters. We put the scale already on title block. So this is one thing. You can use the area as well. Some areas they use hectares, some areas they like to use for square millimeters, whatever, but I'll leave it for meter square. And of course, we will need the symbols there. Yeah, you can change something like angles or volumes as well. So angles or slopes. Make sure like you have a ratio here for roofs. For example, you want a ratio by 12 or you want to rise by 12. So make sure which one you use, either rise by 12 or ratio by 12. For now, I'll leave it for decimal degrees. Um, also for rounding as well for all of them. You also can change the currency as well. So the currency here is you can choose whatever the dollar or euros or pound or there's also one thing change here from I believe from other versions of 2012 and later. I'm not sure about 2013 and 14, but definitely is a new one. Um, this density here as well was new. So you can change and use density either for imperial or metric, either or, and you still have the unit symbols. That's about it about units. Now we can jump on to again to manage and additional settings. Lines, you don't have to change them all unless you have to. Um, might need some few tweaks you can do, like now for, let's say, line pattern. We do have already some setup already, but usually we like to have at least one or two line setup, or sometimes for just a specific drawings you need to set up one line. So it's simple. Actually, you just have to create here lesson line. Just we know it's a lesson line. Um, yeah, usually it's a dash, and then you have like a space dash. Usually it's 2 millimeter. Let's say space. Let's say 1 millimeter, and you have like a dot, and you have a space which is another 1 millimeter, and it's saved somewhere. So it's a lesson here. Click OK, just for sake of trying something here. Um, Again, there is a line style, or sorry, line weight. Line weight is almost the same as AutoCAD. You have here the scale, and you have here the line weight. So we have 1, 2, 3, and up till 16. Now, for the size of the line when printed, so we have different scale. So each line weight, let's say when it's 1 to 10, it's 1.8, 1.18 millimeters. So it goes up to, or goes down to 0.1 for a bigger scale. So in AutoCAD used to be just by colors, now it's by numbers. So you can see how thick that line is really is when it's printed when on a scale of 150 or at 1/500. So really you don't have to change anything here unless you have to, but if you have to, this is where you will be able to change the line weight. Now, the next step is line style. Well, this sums up everything. If you go to lines, all the lines that you had before line style, they're all listed here. The one that we created before earlier, it's called lesson lines. It should be on here on the line pattern. Lesson lines, I think it's right here. This is what we will be creating actually right now. We're gonna create line style. Call it a style lesson style line, or yeah, I'm just gonna put online. So subcategory and click OK. It's here. So we're gonna choose a line weight and black. I'll leave it black. I'll choose my uh, text pattern or line pattern that I did before, which is the lesson one. Apply. OK. Now, if you go to annotate, or and if you go to home architectural and you go model lines, you will have these options here for line style, and you will choose the lesson style. Oops, I have to just do it again here. And you can see the style right now that we did. Dash, space, dot, dash, space, dot. That's exactly what we did before. Here you go. So now we can move on to visibility graphic. Now we can go to annotate, and then we can try to find one of the spots or a annotation called the from the architectural, and definitely we can do that. Create like I would say a wall just for a better understanding of um, this is a basic wall. Um, what I'm gonna do, first of all, you notice that the line is so thin. This is because there is an option here that is turned off or turned on. The line thin lines option. So you have to actually click on it and it's turn it off. So the lines are actually showing exactly how they should be showing. Now for the visibility graphic option here for how to show things, how to have things being shown on Revit. So you go to manage and you can either go here or project or just type actually um, visibility graphic window here, and you see you get visibility graphic override for um, project. So again, you will have to choose from either options here, the wall option. So go in, sorry, just a correction here. Um, I was talking about the VG, which is the visibility graphic for floor plan. So this is an override for floor plan only, not for the whole project. So this is gonna be only for the floor plan. Now we are doing standards, and that's something that you have to pay attention to. Um, when you do change anything here, it's gonna only apply to level 1, not on level 2 or anything else in the template. So to make it happen everywhere just for the object. So whatever that object, wall object, so any wall object in the project, in the template, will be shown as is we are doing right now. We have to go to manage object style, and that's where the object style window looks more like visibility graphic, but it's not the same in for the intent. If you look at the right now, it says filter multiple, so we have architectural and structural discipline. So that's the intent. We have all the, but if you want to see all of the items, we have to really click on each item. But right now, I just want to focus on the architectural discipline item. So walls, so it should be at the back, the bottom here. So if you want to change, let's say the cut of the wall or just the projection. Projection is when you see the the object. Usually one is good, but for the cut line, probably you can make it just a little bit thicker. Let's say 6, and material is default wall, and whatever the default is, we don't want to change any materials. Line pattern, put it solid, and black will be good. So just want to see and show you the changes. So again, if you go to manage object, and if you start changing that from here, and you can see live how these changes are being made. Let's say from 4 and then apply, and you can see the thicker the line is. So if you go back here and put it to 6, probably 6 is good. It's good enough for the type of wall. And again, yeah, or maybe just make it used to be 3, so I'll make it maybe just 5 for now. Um, also, if you want to go back to object style again and find the annotations um, or detail items or anything you want to change in here. I'm trying to find some items here that they are specific to annotation object, analytical object. So annotation object, they are in the tab here, and you want to see like there is a again there is a model object and there is annotation object, something that we need to really be specific about. Um, so again, model object, there is model, and there's annotation for drafting. And let's see for uh, boundary callout. So I would like to make that instead of a solid, I want to make it dash or dash dot and hit apply. And then when we go into view tab, go into callout, as you can see, the callout has changed to, it used to be solid. If you go back to manage and yeah, you go back to manage object style, annotation objects, you can see we change it to solid or dash dot dot or just dash dot to solid. If you get apply, we get an instant change here. So again, I would like to have it as a dash dot or even dash dot dot. I'm sorry, didn't make up my mind here. I'll be quick on that one. Notation object, click dash dot dot, apply, and you can see here. Now the line weight, you can change it as well. You can add a line weight to it. Usually it's thicker. I have worked in many project, and the boundary usually has a thicker, I would say that like 3, and looks good. You can also move this one here if you want, whatever you want to move it. Oops. You have these handles here that you can use. Make sure you, oops. Looks like I'm not clicking on the right item here. Or this is not helping me much. So anyways, I'll leave it like this right now. Looks like I'm not clicking on the right spot. Definitely this is not gonna be moved. Anyways, to move that, you always have to use this one. This oops, it's very sensitive right now. Anyways, again, we had a quick overview of how to change the visibility graphic of things, and we will move on. There is also options that you want to change for the family, create new families for walls, for example. And this is something later on we're gonna move and explain more in details. So we have a wall, generic wall of 200 millimeters called basic wall. It's a system family. So we have a component family, we have basic family, system family. System family is something that you cannot really alter unless you want to go back here on this structure, and which is where you can add more to it, but you can't actually change the family behavior. It's a system family. You can add to it, you can add material to it, but you can't really work and change the family itself, how reacts parametrically. So again, you can duplicate, give it a name, and start changing this family basically to your own project. Something that we will be doing later on in other videos. Um, there's this option also in Revit 2017, Dynamo. So Dynamo is it's an open source visual programming platform for designers. So it gives you an overview of project progress. It's a very powerful option here. Um, Again, this is just a note here. I'm moving forward now. Um, Next, talking about how to set up a standard title block for a template. So before we move to the title block and setting up the title block, standard title block, and how to, I would like to add a note here. Um, how to create a drafting view. Drafting view is sometimes is needed when, well, it's asking me right now. It's asking me to save the project, so we didn't do it yet. So we can do that right now. Save the project, um, which I already did right now. New drafting view. So I'm gonna go call it drafting one or drafting lesson. Scale doesn't matter. I'm just gonna click OK. It's gonna give me like this is another view we are right now. If you wanna see what kind of view we have open right now, we have two. We have a lesson template and project, and we have lesson template on the floor plan, sorry, and we have drafting view, which is right now, and you see it's checked mark. So let's just uh, do something like a text. We have a text here right now, so we're just gonna leave it like that for 2.5, or I'll use a 7. Um, and right now I'm gonna just type lessons progress notes. And yeah, let's close that. And what we can do again, we're just gonna change the size to probably 3.5. And you see how Revit gives you like a line in line, like a guide. So yeah, we're gonna go right now, put one, or actually Revit gives us this option here. So first lesson was about uh, setting up standards. The next one will be creating new title block. All right, we can close that. Do you want to keep the changes? I would say yes and escape. Yeah, there is something we can do is you can manage your views. We like to have that view always open on the same time when you open, every time you open your, right now it's your Revit file. So we will set it on the drafting lesson, drafting view. Every time you open, you will have this. Next lesson will be on a new title block, how to create one, and I'll show you how.